Hello students, welcome to a lesson through the virtual training center of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha teacher, and in this lockdown period, since we are not able to go to school children, we will be doing many lessons here online through the virtual class. So come on, let's proceed to our lesson for today.
So children, our lesson for today is a lesson in Standard 10th English, and the name of the lesson is Connecting the Dots. Now there are so many different meanings to this particular phrase. So connecting the dots could mean a physical activity where you are connecting dots in order to form a shape, or in order to form a word or an idea. Or connecting the dots may also mean the experiences which a very great person called Steve Jobs had in his life. Okay, so let us see what the connecting the dots in this lesson means. So let us look at this particular exercise in the beginning of your lesson. Now children, any lesson in English in your English textbook is divided into 3 parts. You must have seen. You have the warming up part, and then you have the lesson as such, and then you have certain English workshop exercises later. So let us start with this particular exercise in your warming up part. So they have asked you to join the dots to form a word. Okay, now this particular lesson is called joining the dots. So let us try to join the dots here and see what we are going to learn in this lesson for today. So come on, let's start with the C and let's go to the O. So you have CO. From O you will go to the letter M. So you have the COM. From M let's proceed and let's go to P. Okay, and from P we will go to U. So I'm sure now you know where we are leading. So we have the word compute now with us. So let us complete the word. From U we go to T. From T the line will take us to E. Okay, moving forward we will go to R, and finally let us complete the word with the S. So what is the word that you have here? It is computers. So when we talk about Steve Jobs, okay, there is no way that we cannot talk about computers. So this particular lesson is about the life of this particular person called Steve Jobs, who made a major difference in the computer based industry. Okay, so let us also do some more exercises now, and let us try and see what the meaning of joining the dots is in this particular lesson. So when you say joining the dots, Steve Jobs said that you cannot connect the dots looking forward. That is, you cannot think that in my life this is going to happen in the future, and then I will make use of those particular actions or activities in order to do something else. So you cannot actually decide what we are going to do in the future, because you do not know what will happen to you in future. Okay, so the various events which are going to happen, you naturally cannot connect those dots. You cannot try to find a relation between them because you do not know what will happen. So you can only connect looking backwards. That is, you can look back into what is your past, and then you can try and somehow connect the events. When we say dots, dots means the things which have happened in your life. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect to your future. That is, the events which have happened in your past, the experiences that have happened in your past will somehow connect in your future, will somehow help you to go forward in your future. So he says, you will have to trust in something, and this something can be your gut. Your gut means your instinct, your feelings. Okay, it could be your destiny, it could be life, it could be karma, or it could be whatever. Depending on what faith you have, you can think that I will trust that whatever has happened in the past and whatever good experiences or bad experiences or whatever has happened to me in the past will somehow or the other change my life in the future. This is what Steve Jobs tells us to do. This approach, he says, has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life. So now this person, Steve Jobs, he went from nothing to a lot within a short span of time. It was not only because of these things that he mentions here, that is, it was not because of destiny, not all because of karma or whatever else. There was hard work, dedication, okay, which was a very important part of his journey. So let us try to understand a little bit about this great personality in this lesson. Okay, so in today's lesson we will be doing a little part of the warming up exercise, and we will be talking a little bit about the life of Steve Jobs. Okay, now this person is no longer there with us, he's no longer there amidst us because he passed away in the year 2011 due to cancer. So moving on, let's go to our exercises. So we have the first exercise in your warming up part, where they have asked you to make a word register using computers. So now the computers is the main theme of our lesson for today, because I told you when we are talking about Steve Jobs, there is no way that we will not talk about computers. So the main theme of our lesson, the theme word of our lesson, you can say, is computers. So they've asked you to prepare a word register using the word computer. So before going to computer and making a word register, let us look at some examples of what word registers are. So these are nothing but vocabulary exercises. Making a word register is a vocabulary exercise. So see, we have a list of words here. Let us look at a few examples. So look at this list of words. So you have the first word, whisper. Whisper means saying something very quietly into someone else's ear, and the third person will not be able to hear what you're saying. Okay, so that is a whisper. So when you whisper, it means you're saying something. Okay, look at the next word. You will see that it is a group of words which have been taken together. Next word means to bawl. B-A-W-L, ball. It is a homophone of B-A-L-L, ball. But here bawl means to cry loudly. So it is usually children who bawl, okay? Small babies, they bawl. Elders also, bigger children can also bawl at times. But then usually we say children, very small babies, infants, they bawl. So bawling also here means making some kind of noise, isn't it? Using your mouth, making some kind of noise. Then you have the next word, joke. So when you joke also means you're telling something to someone and making the other person laugh. When you demand means you're asking someone for an explanation. When you are in a rage means you're saying something angrily. When you're groaning, what do you do when you're groaning? Why do you groan? You groan when you're in a lot of pain. Okay, so groan also is a kind of noise that you make. Then you have the word jabber. Now look at this. This is jabber. Have you ever gone to a railway station and just looked around you? You will see that everyone is speaking at the same time. And you have the noise over the public address system, and you have people speaking, and then you are not able to understand what everyone is saying. So that is a jabber. A jabber means nonsensical speech or speech which you are not able to comprehend or understand. So that is a jabber. Next is agree. Agree means saying yes, saying no. So when you agree also, you tend to use words. Okay, next is wailing. You know what is the meaning of wailing? Wailing means again to cry loudly. Begging means to request someone to do something for you. Responding means again saying yes or no. Shrieking means what? Shrieking means shouting loudly. Thundering also means speaking or shouting very loudly. So these are a group of words related to speech or related to sounds. Okay, so if you are asked to make a word register related to speech or related to sounds, this could be an example of a word register. Okay, so now let us look at some more examples of word registers. So look at this example of word register. Look at the first word. It is tiptoe. What is the meaning of tiptoe? Means to silently walk without making sound. So it is just like whispering. Whispering, you say something. When you tiptoe means you quietly walk into a room, or you quietly walk out of a room, or you do not make any noise when you're moving. That is called as tiptoe. Next is hasten. You know what is hasten? Opposite of tiptoe. Hurrying around. Hopping. You must have seen people hopping. Okay, hopping. Clambering. Clambering also means like, making a mad movement. Darting. Darting means making a quick movement. Race. Race means to run. And then there are other words like scurry. Scurry means, we see the rat scurried off. So it ran away hurriedly. Sprinting means again running. Galloping means the run of a horse. So these are all words related to movements. So someone tells you to make a word register of movements, bodily movements. You can write all these words, isn't it? So these are all examples of word registers. Let's look at one more example. See here. What do you think this category belongs to? What? See, glance, gaze, peer, spot, seek, observe, witness, gape, glimpse, glare, watch, spy, snoop. What are these words connected to? Try and find out what these words are connected to. So this is one exercise for you to do. Okay, so these are how word registers are written. Now the exercise in our textbook tells us to make a word register related to computers. So is the idea clear to you now? How to make or how to write a list of words related to computers. Okay, so this is again one more assignment for you. Let's move on and look at the next exercise, exercise number 2 from your warming up section. You are quite familiar with computers, especially the personal computer, the thing which we call as the PC. Okay, where you have you can say a display, you have the keyboard, you have the machine which is the CPU. So we all know what a CPU or what a computer is, or what a personal computer is. So you have to form pairs. Now there is no way where you can form pairs now, children. You're not in the classroom, but you're supposed to make a list of the famous computer manufacturing companies in the world. So one is given to you, Apple. Now Apple is the company which makes these iPhones. They also make these Apple iPads, Apple laptops, etc., which are quite expensive. Okay, so you have to write, look into the net, go to the internet, search and write the names of at least 3 more companies that make computers. Alright, so this is one more exercise for you, children. Let's move on and let us look at some more exercises. See, look at exercise 3 from your textbook. So this is a word web. Okay, this is one more vocabulary exercise. So in a word register, you wrote related words, isn't it? Words related to movements, or words related to you can say computers. So in this also you have to write related words. So benefits of computers. So what are the benefits of computers? Now one I will tell you, the remaining you have to research and write, and I'm sure many of you already know what the benefits of computers are. So one benefit according to me is fast and accurate work. When you work on the computer, it is fast. You can copy so many things, you can paste it somewhere else, you can make lists, you can make Excel sheets. Okay, so fast work and accurate work. When you ask the computer to do some calculations for you, it will never make a mistake. So it is fast work and it is accurate work. Now the remaining 3 is your job as assignment. Okay, So try and see what other benefits of computers can you think of. There are innumerable benefits of computers. Now today the situation is such that everything has gone online. Right from buying a ticket to learning a lesson. Everything is now online. So now you can imagine how this online thing will work if there are no computers. Very, very difficult, isn't it? So come on, think on those lines and try to fill up this particular, you can say, word web on what are the benefits of computers. We will move on and we will try to see the expanded form of words. Now certain words in English, children, they are written in the contracted form. Now remember, contracted forms of words are used usually when you speak, okay? Alright? When you write, it is not supposed to be proper or polite using contracted forms. So you are supposed to write the expanded form of the word or the full forms. So see, the first example is that's. So when you say that's, it means you're saying that is. So that's is the contracted form of that is. The second example in your book says didn't. Now remember, children, how you pronounce this. You do not say didn't. What do you say? You say didn't. So didn't means did not. When you want to say did not, you can also say didn't. He did not give me the phone number. He didn't give me the phone number. So when you speak, it goes in a natural flow. He didn't give me his phone number. Okay? Next one is, let us go to the next one. Here's. Here's means here is. Here's. Okay? Next, can't. Can't can mean cannot. So instead of saying I cannot do this, you say I can't do this. Alright? And the last one is I've. I've means I have. So this is how the expanded forms of these words are written. Let us move on and let us go to the shortened forms of the words. Shortened forms. Shortened forms we also call it as contracted forms. So see, these are all the words that we have. You're supposed to write the shortened forms. I will give you around 6 answers and the remaining 6 is an assignment for you. So children, in these video lessons, we are not going to do assignments only at the end of the lesson, okay? As we go on with our lesson, I'm going to give you a number of assignments which you can complete and then move forward, or you can mark it and then you can complete it later. Alright? So now you're supposed to write the shortened forms. You're going to go in reverse now. So, you have can become you've. Okay? Like you said, I've was I have in the previous example. So you have could be you've. I would be I'd do this. Okay, that means I would do this. It is something which we use very commonly. We say it's. Alright? Then you have you are. You are is your. Remember the spelling. Many times you write it by mistake. Instead of saying you're a good child, you say Y-O-U-R, your good child. So that Y-O-U-R, your, is a possessive pronoun. We have learnt it. Okay? This is you are in the shortened form. Then he will be he'll. Okay? And I had would again be I'd. So you say I'd for I had as well as I would. So it depends on the sentence. You will know which one you have used. So these are the 6 answers from my side. The remaining 6 is your assignment. Okay? So this was about the shortened forms. Now we have pretty much done most of the exercises, or all of the exercises we have done in our warming up part. Let us move on and let us talk about the main part of this particular lesson. So here we are talking about Steve Jobs. Okay, now Steve Jobs, he was born in the year 1955 and unfortunately he passed away to cancer in the year 2011. He was an American entrepreneur. He was a business magnate. He was an inventor. He was an industrial designer. Okay. Now, an entrepreneur, a business magnate. Now, the spelling of magnate here is magnate. Okay, that is a spelling or typing error. He was also an inventor and he was also an industrial designer. That is, basically, he was a businessman who tried to do new things in the field of computers. He was the chairman, he was the chief executive officer, that is the CEO, and he was the co-founder of Apple Incorporation. Now I told you just a little while ago in the lesson that Apple makes the very expensive iPhones and the Apple pads, okay, and the Apple, you can say notebooks, computers, etc. He is widely recognized as one of the pioneers. Pioneers means the people who made a lot of difference in the field of microcomputer revolution of the 1970s and the 1980s. So you will see this particular information in your textbook also. So let us try to understand or hear Steve Jobs' story in his own words. So he says that today I will tell you 3 stories from my life. Okay? He will just say 3 stories, and these 3 stories are about connecting the dots, it is about love in your life, and it is about death. So the first story he wants to tell us is about connecting the dots. We will not look at all the stories in detail, children. We will be just breezing through the stories of the lesson. Okay? So he says that I dropped out of a particular college called as Reed College. Okay, after he studied there for 6 months. Now, why did he drop out? Drop out means he stopped going to college. Why did he drop out? Because he thought that there was nothing which was interesting for him to learn. Now, when you go to school, there are so many subjects that you have to learn. Some of the subjects are of interest to you. Some of the subjects do not interest you. But then anyways, you have to complete your schooling. That is why you invariably go to school. But Steve Jobs, he was in college now. Remember, he had completed his school and he was in college. But then he just did not find that anything was looking interesting to him. So he simply dropped out. But then he stayed around. He stayed around means he did not completely stop going to college. Okay, he would visit college, he would go and see the classes, he would go to the library, he would pay his fees also on time, but he did not have a room, so he used to sleep on the floor with his friends. All right, and he did a lot of hard work. Hard work means he used to collect the Coca-Cola or the Coke bottles, and then he used to return them, and he used to buy food with that. He used to eat at a langar, that is at free food which is given in temples. Okay, so he was somehow or the other pulling on with life with a lot of difficulty. And that is the thing. But he says that dropping out of college was the best decision that he has ever made. Now looking back, now he's connecting the dots. Okay, when he's looking back, when he's looking into his past, he says that he just stopped because certain classes did not interest him, and he started looking at classes which were of interest to him. So he went and joined a class in calligraphy. Okay, so there was this calligraphy class. Now calligraphy means things related to writing, handwriting, etc. So this particular college that he had enrolled in, it offered the best calligraphy classes in his country, in the country of America. He was an American. All right. So he started learning calligraphy. And he says that this calligraphy somehow 10 years later, when he was developing the first Macintosh computer, It helped him a lot, and he used this idea of calligraphy into the Mac when he designed the Mac. Mac means the Macintosh computer. So you can see this is how the Macintosh computer looked like. It is a little bit like our PC, isn't it? But it is very different also. So that is why he says that whatever you do in life will help you somewhere or the other. He says, if I had never dropped in on that course in college, the Mac would never have had multiple typefaces, or for that matter, proportionately spaced fonts. So he says that the features of the Macintosh, or the features of the Mac, were that they had multiple typefaces, and also the fonts, that is the writing, were proportionately spaced out. There were spaces between what we could write on the Macintosh. All this happened why? Because he dropped out of his course, but he learned calligraphy. So this is one story that is about how you connect the dots later. At that particular point of time, you do not realize what you're doing. But when you look back, you understand that yes, this was good for me. Dropping out of college and doing a course in calligraphy was good for me. But of course, whenever your parents pay a lot of fees and enroll you into a course, you should try and complete the course, okay? You should not drop out and then waste your parents' money. So what you should do is, in the beginning only, you should tell them that this is what seems to be interesting me. I seem to be interested in this particular thing, so kindly see to it that you enroll me in this course. So that is what you can do as a child. Alright? Now you will see that the remaining stories, let us look at the remaining two stories. So the first story we talked about is about connecting the dots, and this was related to his career, okay, related to his what he did in his life. The second story that he wants to tell us is about love and loss. That is how he met someone, he met his wife. Okay, when he started working for Apple, he met his wife and they started living a wonderful life together. But sometimes what happens is this love that you get in your life is also sometimes lost. And why did he lose this? He lost it because he lost his life. Okay, because his wife Lorraine and he had a wonderful family also together, but then because of cancer he lost everything that he had. And the third story is about death. Okay, he says about how he was diagnosed with cancer and how his doctor told him that he had to go home and he had to prepare to die. Alright, that was what his doctor said. Be prepared to die. But he did not do that. He kept working and he did not wait for death to come to him. Alright, and he decided to face death. And he says that it is how he lived his life, and he was very happy also living that kind of a life. So these were the three stories that Steve Jobs has to tell us. The first one we saw in detail about connecting the dots. The second one is about love and loss of love. And the third story is about his death. Okay, he also says that he learned many things from his life. So what were the things that he learned in life now? He says that your time in this world is limited. So don't waste it living someone else's life. That is, fulfilling someone else's expectation. Your friends want you to do this, the people in your neighborhood want you to do something else. You always think about what people will think. So Steve Jobs' advice to us is that our time here is limited. You never know when your life will get over. So you should not waste it living someone else's life. Okay, living on the ideas of someone else. You should live your life on your own terms. He also says, don't let the noise of others' opinion drown out your own inner voice. So all of us have got an inner voice which tells you, okay, do this, do that. But then what we do? We suppress that inner voice. We let it drown. Then we ask others, what do you think I should do? And when that person tells you something, the third person tells you a third opinion, fourth person tells you the fourth opinion, and then finally your own opinion is lost. Your own inner voice is lost. So Steve Jobs advises us not to do anything of that sort. He also tells us that we have to have the courage to follow your heart and your intuition, your gut. Okay, you should have the courage to follow your heart. Whatever your heart tells you, sometimes it might go wrong also. It is not necessary that you will always succeed if you follow your heart, but at least you will gain a lot of experience and you will be happy that you listened to your own inner voice and you did not live someone else's life, because our life is limited. So these are the things which Steve Jobs learned in his life, and that is what he wants to tell us also. Okay, so that was about the story of Steve Jobs. Now let us do this particular exercise before we wind up this lesson for today. So let us see whether you understood the story. So before you do this exercise, children, I would advise you to open your textbook and read the lesson thoroughly. Now you know what the lesson is about. Okay, you know it is about the life of Steve Jobs. So thoroughly read the lesson, read it once, read it twice, and then try to come back and solve this exercise. And then you can check also whether your answers are right. So the first, you can say, thing which happened in the life of Steve Jobs is Jobs dropped out of Reed College. He dropped out of Reed College, and then what happened? He learned about serif and sans serif type faces. That is, he learned calligraphy. Okay. After that, what happened? He started the Next. That is a company called Next. Okay. And then he married his then wife, Lorraine. Then he returned to the job at Apple Incorporation. Now there are many things which might have happened between these events also, but since these are the ones which are given, we are trying to put them in a sequence. After that, what happened was Jobs was diagnosed with cancer. Okay, the doctor diagnosed that he's got cancer now. And then finally he underwent a surgery for this particular type of cancer. So this was about the incidents of Steve Jobs' life in chronological order. Chronological order means in what happened first and then what happened next and so on. So children, this lesson is a rather long one. You have a lot of exercises to do in this lesson, not only during the course of the lesson, but also in the warming up exercise, in the English workshop part. So I have split this lesson up into two parts. So the remaining part of the lesson, you will have to wait for the next video to come up. Okay, so in this lesson today, we did a number of exercises in the warming up part. We looked at the contracted forms, the expanded forms, we connected the dots, we made a word register. Okay, we also filled in a word web. So in the next part of this lesson, we will do the exercises which are there after your lesson. That is, we will look at some dictionary related exercises. Okay, we will look at some grammar exercises. All right, we will talk about how to make idioms and phrases, and we will also talk about tense, how to find out tense of the verb. So there are a lot of interesting things coming up in the next lesson as well. So please wait for the next video.
So children, wasn't that a wonderful video? And did you enjoy watching it? So if you want to watch more such videos in future, then please like this video and also subscribe to our channel, the MCGM Portal for Education, and also hit the bell button so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video here. Thank you so much for now. Let's meet again soon.